Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, said, "You must use the MasterMind principle to attain your major definite purpose." Hello, this is Stephen Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about 3 critical relationships for success. Now, I'm going to be talking about these relationships in the context of a mastermind group, but having said that, these are critical relationships for success in and out of a mastermind group. So, and the first of them is a mentor relationship. Who do you have who is a mentor? And how many mentors do you have? I would suggest that you get as many as 3 mentors, and as many as you possibly can. Next is peer-to-peer alliances. This is a little bit different. We all have peer-to-peer relationships. Alliances are when we commit to the other person's success and we make that commitment known. And last but not least is a mentee. That is someone that you are mentoring, someone that you are helping to find their success. So, different relationships have different benefits. They have different benefits to you. So, first let's talk about a mentee. A mentee obviously is someone who listens to you and respects your input and your feedback. A mentee, it is a challenge sometimes to find people to invest in. Even in the context of a mastermind group, it can be a challenge to find a mentee, because these people that are not at your level are often intimidated by the mastermind process. They don't feel that they can bring value to a mastermind group, so oftentimes they'll stay in their comfort zone. And their comfort zone is not being mentored by you. Being mentored by definition gets us out of our comfort zone. So it takes a very special person to get into that mentor-mentee relationship. And of course, it can be, once you find someone, it can be a challenge to find someone that is worth your time and investment. Same goes for a mentor as a mentee. You want to find someone who is ethical, someone who is committed, someone who has the character to move forward in life. What are the benefits to you to have a mentee? Well, it builds your self-worth in knowing that you're giving value to someone else. And this is really important, even as you go on to other relationships. I talk to many people who, again, are intimidated by the mastermind process because they don't feel that they can give value to others. So they stay in their comfort zone and they stay out of mastermind groups altogether. And so having a mentee, it gives you practice in providing value to other people. And then once you're used to talking to someone who is, under your level, who's younger than you, who may not be at your level of success or your particular position in a company, or whatever the situation is, now all of a sudden you have the self-confidence and you can offer that value now peer-to-peer. And once you can then offer peer-to-peer value, that now allows you to then to offer value to the people above you. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Having mentees gives you perspective about the challenges that you're going through now. When you're helping someone else with their challenges and their problems, it makes your challenges seem a heck of a lot lighter. It sure does. And it also helps you to give you the critical thinking to get out of your own situation. The more you give advice to someone else, the more likely you are to be able to give advice to yourself. And I'll tell you, it's easy to give advice to other people, isn't it? But giving advice to yourself is a challenge. You know, the old saying is, I can fix all your problems, but I can't fix my own. In the same way, you can fix all my problems, but you can't fix your own. We have something that is called perspective. And the 3 different relationships offer us perspective in 3 different ways. Having a mentee, having someone to speak into their life, it helps you to be happy and fulfilled. If you're depressed right now, get someone in your life that you can speak into their life. The more you can speak into other people's lives, you'll just find yourself being naturally more happy, more satisfied, and more fulfilled. You know, we get so busy, and we tend to get selfish with our time. But really, that is a very self-destructive aspect to our personalities. You know, it is so true. When you give, that is when you gain. Now, when you invest in other people, you are also investing in your future as well as theirs. Could you imagine having 5, 10, 15, who knows, maybe even 20 people who owe their success to you, who are grateful for everything that you've done for them? And as they go on through the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, if you need something, do you think they're going to provide it? Heck yeah. You've got people out there who absolutely love and care for you and are grateful for what you've done for them. And will that come back to bless you? Oh, yes, it will. And it will bless you magnificently. So invest in your future by investing in the future of others. Now, having a mentor. You know, when we think of a mentor, we usually think of someone who's older, someone who's more experienced, someone perhaps in a higher level, whether it's a higher level in management or a higher income bracket. But there are also some challenges with those types of people. We tend to have less rapport with people who are not in our same realm, as it were. And also, there's less rapport the other way. They don't necessarily have as much rapport with us either. It can also be intimidating if you just got a chance right now to spend time with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was your mentor. Now he's easy to pick because he's just kind of an intimidating kind of guy. You know, that really could be intimidating, couldn't it be? So there's a challenge in those relationships. Sometimes we can feel like we're being condescended to, and our pride gets in the way from us having those kind of relationships. It's much easier to keep your pride when you're speaking into other people's lives, not necessarily having those people speak into your life. And many people stay on the mentee, having mentees, having people that they're helping, and they won't let people help them. The reason for this is because it attacks their self-worth to have other people help them. You know, you can feel pretty good about yourself when you're the guy on top who's helping everybody else. It takes a real level of EQ to be mentored by someone else, to let them come in and speak into your life, to let them come into the area of your life that you may not want them to come in and show you that perspective. Someone who has that experience. But boy, there's such value there when you lay your ego aside the value is absolutely incredible. Sometimes also there can be a challenge because you feel like you can't give value in return. In Thailand, they have a word called grengjai, and grengjai basically means, well, actually there is no direct translation, but it's that feeling that I can't accept something from you because I just can't. I can't take something from you. You know, we get that way, don't we? It's a challenge to receive. And it's even more of a challenge to receive when we feel like we can't give value in return. And we're also afraid to take up other people's valuable time. All of these things are challenges that many of you will need to overcome to have a mentor in your life. And boy, is it worth overcoming these? Yes, absolutely. Attack these feelings head on. Attack these beliefs head on so that you can have a mentor mentoring you. Also, it can be awkward outside of a mastermind. By the way, inside of a mastermind, this can happen very, very naturally. But outside of a mastermind, it can be very awkward to ask someone to mentor you. You know, it's funny. All of these things are much more intimidating, have much more pull outside of a mastermind. When you're inside of a mastermind and there is someone there who can mentor you in the group, it is just much easier to get that relationship going. You know, if it's not for masterminds, many of you will never have a mentor in your life. Or you'll have mentors that just kind of come in and go out and don't really have that deep, meaningful impact. For many of you, it's going to take getting into a mastermind to have that mentor relationship. And there's another benefit too is, you know, when you have a mastermind, you have scheduled regular time to get together. And that scheduled regular time means you get more of someone else's time. And so there's another benefit to having a mentor inside of a mastermind group. Obviously, what are the benefits of having a mentor? Well, you can get wisdom and insight, clarity and focus. You can stay away from all the pitfalls and the dead ends. Also, you get humility. When you're helping other people or you're in a peer-to-peer relationship, it's very easy to let pride come in. And pride is a massive destroyer of careers. It's a massive destroyer of success. Now, I'm not talking about good, healthy self-confidence here. I'm talking about butthead arrogance. And we all have a little bit of that arrogance, don't we? There's a little bit of it hidden in our hearts somewhere. And humility, having humility, yes, sometimes it's a challenge to have humility, but having humility is sure better than being humiliated. And pride will get you humiliated. And it will put you in a place where somebody enjoys tearing you down. When you're humble, everybody wants to lift you up. Humility is the not talked about success secret. And many of us don't have relationships that bring humility into our lives. And again, these kinds of relationships, to have a mentor, saves you time. It saves you frustration, dead ends, and failure. AKA, having a mentor will save your butt. And there's only one thing better than having a mentor, and that is having many mentors. Let's talk about peer-to-peer relationships. Obviously, these are the most common. These are the most comfortable. They're the most fun. They're the ones that we enjoy the most. Peer-to-peer relationships are also in your comfort zone. There's a lot less challenge, and less challenge means less growth. I'm not saying peer-to-peers aren't valuable. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying in your comfort zone equals less growth. Now, when you think about peer-to-peer relationships, all of us have casual peer-to-peer relationships. However, alliances are the most profitable. Most peer-to-peer relationships are like sticks drifting down a river. We're kind of enjoying the ride together, but we very rarely interact with each other in a way to change our course going down the river, unless you bind your sticks together and you start to help each other form a direction. This is what an alliance is all about. Having those alliances are massively profitable. And alliances very rarely happen outside of masterminds. See, masterminds are geared for you to make those kind of agreements with others. So get involved in a mastermind and don't just make friendships. Make alliances. Get people that are committed to your success. Obviously, peer-to-peer benefits, these kind of relationships, man, they are encouraging, aren't they? This is where most of your JV partnerships will come from. Yes, you will get partnerships for mentors, and yes, you will get partnerships from mentees, but most of your JV partnerships are going to be coming from your peer-to-peer network. See, different relationships offer different benefits. So what stops you? What stops you from having these kinds of relationships? Well, there is a lack of quality of people, isn't there? When you think about the people that are in our lives, if you're listening to this, you're probably pretty ambitious. A lot of the people that are surrounding us are not as ambitious as us, are they? If you're listening to this, you may have read some of those self-help books. Probably a lot of those people, or business books, probably a lot of the people in your life are not in the same situation. Some of you are too busy to have these kind of quality of relationships. And as I talked about these three kinds of relationships, you're thinking to yourself, how will I ever find time for all these relationships? And I would suggest to you, if that's the way you're thinking, then you're too busy to succeed. What is success if it consumes your life and you don't have the freedom and the choice to generate these relationships? These relationships, the three types of relationships, a mentor, mentee, and also peer-to-peer relationships, they will make you time when you run them properly. Now, having said that, I know outside of a mastermind group, it's easy to kind of just let time go and not focus our time together. And a lot of us need the discipline of being in a mastermind structure to make sure that we get the most out of these types of relationships. Having said that, make time for relationships. Make time for a mastermind. Some of you are thinking to yourself, you're too scared. You're scared to get hurt. You're scared to get betrayed. All of these relationships work on trust, intimacy, and openness. And some of you have an underlying fear that's keeping you out of a mastermind group, that's keeping you from having real relationships. And it's time to let that go. Having said that, mastermind groups, and I don't want to talk about this too much right here because I'll talk about it in a different video, but mastermind groups have a way of attracting people that are ethical, that are faithful, and that are committed. Because, to be honest, people that are not ethical, that are not committed, don't last more than 6 months in a mastermind. They just don't last. So masterminds can be one of the safest places to connect with other people. But again, I'll save that for another video. Some of you are scared to have the people get to know the real you. And you're thinking, what if people really get to know who I really am? And I would suggest to you, who you are doesn't matter. It's who you're committed to becoming. That's what a mastermind does. A mastermind is, in these three types of relationships, are not about who you are. These are about shaping who you want to become. Let it go. Decide who you want to be. And then get around people that can help you become the person that you were meant to be. So let's take a quick relationship inventory. How many people have you mentored who are your mentees over your lifetime? How many do you have right now? Are you strategically mentoring other people so that it's also a benefit to you in the future? Are you investing in other people in such a way that that benefit will come back to you? Now, having said that, I'm not saying you should, only mentor people that only have a benefit to you, but in the same sense, we only have so much time in this life, and you can't go out and have 20 different mentees right now. And so you want to choose people that you can have an impact in their lives, and people that have the possibility of bringing that benefit back to you. How many peer-to-peer alliances do you have? Now, I'm sure some of you have some loose alliances. Do you have any formal alliances where you walked up to one of your friends and you say, I'm committed to your success? All of my contacts are your contacts. Whatever I can do, I'm committed to you. And they've made that same alliance back to you. Get involved in a mastermind group. How many mentors do you currently have? How many mentors have you had in the past? What are the quality of the relationships you have in each area? And how will you increase that quality? What is your strategy? What is the plan for getting more of these relationships in your life? Now, guys, if you need to pause the video and write some things down, go ahead and do it. Because the chances of you thinking about and analyzing this after this video go off, well, let me put it this way. Go buy a lottery ticket, because your chances of winning the lottery are better. So stop the video right now. Take the time right now. There is no tomorrow. There is no later. The only thing you've got is now to answer these questions. Relationship inventory here. What is it costing you to not have these kind of relationships? What will it cost you in the future if you keep going the way you are now with the shallow relationships that you have, without having alliances, without having mentors or mentees, without having a structured process to get the value out of the most value out of those relationships? And now for a quote from Oprah. For every one of us that succeeds, it's because there is somebody there to show you the way out. On that note, this is Stephen Reynolds. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Come and visit me at www.theoneforsuccess.com and join a mastermind group today. I'll talk to you soon.